Good morning, kids. Are you ready for the kids' Bible lesson? Woohoo!
Remember Daniel, kids? Well, today we're going to learn a little bit about how it all began for Daniel and his three friends that were thrown into the fiery furnace. So King Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, went up against Jerusalem, against Judah, to fight against it. So King Nebuchadnezzar won, and he took captive many of the people of Judah. And some of those were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And they were taken captive away from their home in Jerusalem, and they were going to be taken all the way to Babylon. King Nebuchadnezzar said to his commander, I wanted you to take some of the very best of the young guys that we captured, the ones who are really, really smart and really wise, and I want you to take them and teach them for 3 years all about our ways over here in Babylon. And I want you to help them learn the language, and I want you to give them really good food and make sure that they are ready to serve me in my kingdom. Whoa, look at all that amazing food. The king wanted the food given to these guys that was straight from his table. All kinds of meats and yummy cheeses and chicken and maybe even a donut or two and breads and more chicken and more wine and yummy things to drink. Now Daniel had a conviction in his heart that he should not have these kinds of foods. Now maybe it came from some of the laws that God had given to the people of Israel and Judah, that they shouldn't eat certain kinds of foods. He decided that he would go and ask permission to not have that kind of food. Commander, if it would be possible, I wanted to ask you if my friends and I could possibly not have all that really fancy food from the king's table, and I was wondering if we could just have some fruit and vegetables and just water to drink. Would that be all right? Uh-oh, said the commander. It might not be very good for me. I might get my head chopped off, because if you guys don't look very good, the king will see what you guys look like and he'll go, hey, what did you do, commander? And then he might chop off my head. So I don't think it's a good idea. The commander put the overseer in charge of Daniel and his friends and said, you're in charge. You do what you're supposed to do, okay? So Daniel talked to the overseer and said, I was wondering if we could do a plan. How about for 10 days, you give us just lots of good fruits and vegetables like carrots and cabbage and cauliflower and broccoli and Brussels sprouts and all those kind of yummy things. And for 10 days, how about you give us that and water? That would be great. And instead of all this food, let's not have any meats and breads and cheeses and chicken and wine and orange juice and all that kind of stuff. Just fruits and vegetables and water. And after 10 days, if we look really, really sick and not very healthy, or if we look really healthy after 10 days, then you decide. Okay, the overseer said, yep, we can do that. So after 10 days, the overseer checked on these 4 guys, and sure enough, Daniel was super duper strong and healthy. I think he might be doing push-ups, and Hananiah was doing a whole bunch of sit-ups maybe, and Azariah was doing some jumping jacks, and it looks like the other dude, I forgot his name, is doing more push-ups. Well, anyway, the point is the overseer saw that they looked really healthy, and he was like, okay. So for 3 years, he gave them fruits, vegetables, and water. That's it. No cakes, no cookies with chocolate chips in them, no sausages, no roast lamb over the open fire, just vegetables and water. Wow. Can you imagine eating that every day for 3 whole years? That's awesome. But that's what Daniel and his friends wanted to do to keep them from, it says, defiling themselves, which means making them dirty, or somehow those other foods to them said that they weren't doing the right thing that they felt God wanted them to do. So after 3 years, the overseer took them to the commander. And he's like, okay, These guys are ready to go. Let's go take them to the king. So the commander took the 4 youths to King Nebuchadnezzar along with all the others. He took all of those who had been trained to King Nebuchadnezzar. Now, when King Nebuchadnezzar tested each one, he found that Daniel did so good in all of the things, more than any of the others, along with Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. These guys tested better, 10 times better than all the others who were tested. So King Nebuchadnezzar took the 4 guys into his service in the kingdom. There are 3 super important verses in Daniel chapter 1. And the last one that I'm going to tell you first is verse 17. And it says, "As for these 4 youths, God gave them knowledge and intelligence in every branch of literature and wisdom. Daniel even understood all kinds of visions and dreams." So let me ask you, who gave these guys all the knowledge and wisdom that they had? Can you think about that for a minute? You're right. God gave them that knowledge and intelligence. Now there's another verse, 2 other verses that also say the same thing. Right at the beginning, when Nebuchadnezzar conquered all of Judah and took captive all those captives to Babylon, there's a verse that says, God gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, into Nebuchadnezzar's hand. So who gave the king of Judah into Nebuchadnezzar's hand? You're right. It was God. God did that. And now there's a 3rd verse in the middle, and I forget which verse it is, but it says, "Now God granted Daniel favor and compassion in the sight of the commander of the officials." So when he was saying, "I don't think these foods are super good for us to eat. I'm not sure we should eat those," who was it that gave Daniel favor and compassion in the sight of the commander of the officials, this dude? Who gave him favor? You're right. It was God. God is the one who actually orchestrated or made it that they went to Babylon. And God is the one who gave Daniel favor in this guy's eyes and this guy's eyes so that he could do what he felt was right. And then God is the one who gave all 4 of these guys knowledge and intelligence in every branch of literature and wisdom. So I want you to remember, kids, that God is in control. Whether it's something difficult, like these guys when they had to leave their home and go to Babylon, or whether it's trying to do the right thing and asking somebody if you can do what's right, or whether it's the gifts and the abilities that you were given, God is in control, and he's the one who's organizing all those things in your life. Will you trust him just like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah did? Will you trust the God that loves you just like he loved them?
Okay, kids, see you next week.